Despite being great movies and cartoons that entertain us a lot, did you know that most animations are filled with small mistakes and quick slip-ups? Like in Lilo and Stitch, during a group dance scene where Lilo is participating, we can see two men responsible for percussion using identical traditional Hawaiian instruments. But later, when we see them again, one of them keeps the same instrument while the other one has a pahu, a type of Hawaiian drum. This definitely qualifies as a continuity error that most people have surely never noticed. And that was just one of the 12 errors we've gathered to tell you about today. We've compiled mistakes from Disney, Pixar, and many others. Jasmine's golden bracelet. Aladdin is one of Disney's greatest franchises, but that doesn't mean it's exempt from errors, right? And some of these mistakes are incredibly subtle. For instance, take a look at the golden accessory Princess Jasmine wears on her right arm. When she's trying to distract the villain Jafar and kisses him, the golden piece is on her left arm. Then, in the next scene, it returns to her right arm again. But when he realizes the plan and throws her away, the accessory magically changes sides. It's a small, subtle error, but we still noticed it. McQueen's tires. In the beginning of Cars, it's clear that Lightning McQueen is the protagonist. One thing that emphasizes this is that his two rear tires burst just near the finish line, adding a bit of drama. And after the race, during an interview, we can see that they are changing the right side tire, and we see that the car responsible for the change removing the wheel with the tire. However, the truth is that the tire was completely shredded, leaving only the metal wheels.
There's a lot more to racing than just winning.
Team Shirt. Onward is one of Pixar's more recent films, and it's true that the company is making fewer mistakes these days, but every now and then, they still slip up. For example, when Wade and Ember go to the Cyclone Stadium to watch a game, Wade is wearing a somewhat greenish shirt for his favorite team, the Windbreakers, with the letter W in the center, referring to the team's name. However, when he's walking to drop Ember off at home, he's actually wearing his typical shirt that we see him wear throughout the film. Places in the movies. We also found a mistake in the only Simpsons movie made over more than 3 decades of the yellow, wacky family's existence. In the scene where Homer stands up to say that the movie they are watching is rubbish, at this moment, we can see Otto, Milhouse's father, and Barney standing behind him and the family, side by side. However, when the camera angles change and we see Homer from the other side, if you look closely, you'll notice that Barney is missing. Instead, there's one of the elderly residents from Grandpa Simpson's retirement home next to Otto, followed by Milhouse's father, and then another elderly resident. Also, Miss Crabapple, who was 2 rows behind, is now standing there.
I can't believe we're paying to see something we get on TV for free. Everybody in this theater is a giant sucker.
Shirt color. Big Hero 6 is a very good animated film released by Disney in 2014, where we meet Hero and Baymax, who become a heroic duo. At a certain moment, Hero meets Professor Robert and shows him his invention, the Microbots. Professor Robert is wearing a blue shirt and a green sweater, but when he extends his hand, we can see a part of the professor's arm and his shirt is a light wine color. And shortly after that, we see him back in his blue and green outfit. The detail is that Professor Robert does wear a light wine-colored shirt, but only later on when Hero presents his Microbots to the public. It seems that the animation team accidentally used the design already prepared for the following scene in this short part.
May I?
Sure.
Thinking no one would notice. But we noticed. Symbol change. Chicken Run marked the childhood of many people, and since the second movie was announced, many have been eagerly awaiting its release. We even talked about everything we know about this sequel in this video here in the card. Check it out. It turned out really cool. But despite the first film being meticulously made, it's not error-proof, and we found an almost imperceptible one. When Mrs. Tweety is choosing the chicken that will be used for dinner that night, her husband gives her a list of the chickens that have laid eggs or not in the last few days. If you zoom in on the list, you can see that the chickens 276 and 277 did not lay eggs, as there is a dash in their space instead of a positive sign. However, when the clipboard is in Mrs. Tweety's hands, the information now states that chickens 276 and 277 laid eggs, and the dash has been changed to a circle in the shape of a 0. Umbrella. Ember's Family Market is located near the train tracks, and whenever the train passes by, it splashes water on the areas where Ember is usually close to. Knowing this, we can notice that she has a safety umbrella attached to her waist at the back, but shortly after, when she goes after Wade, she uses the umbrella to speed up and get ahead of everyone. But the question is, where did she get the umbrella from? because before, when she was running, it certainly wasn't there. Divorced Cinderella? In Shrek, we found a small error, not in the animation, but in the logic that you'll understand with us now. But first, we need to explain something. There are two types of fairy tale princesses. Those who were already princesses, like Snow White and Ariel, and those who became princesses after marrying princes, like Cinderella and Belle from Beauty and the Beast, right? When the magic mirror in Shrek shows Lord Farquaad the options of princesses he can marry, Cinderella is presented as one of the choices. But how is that possible if she only became a princess after marrying the prince? Did she get divorced and took half the kingdom in the separation? We hope not, for the sake of the pair of glass slippers. It would be horrible if she ended up with one and the prince with the other, don't you think? Clean Dagger! Tangled is one of Disney's excellent films, featuring one of the company's princesses. In it, we find a scene that, let's say, is a bit totally out of place. The movie is great, but this particular scene was a very silly and simple mistake. At the end of the film, when Mother Gothel does something terrible and stabs Flynn, something very strange happens. After she removes the dagger, it's completely clean. However, it should be, let's say, smeared with poor Flynn's blood. A very small logic error, but one that we noticed. Office poster. Finding Nemo is practically a landmark in animation history, alongside Toy Story due to its huge success at the time. But even so, we have to talk about an error we noticed in the Disney Pixar animated film. When Nemo is in the Dennis Aquarium, Nigel, the pelican friend of the Tank Gang, enters to show Nemo's father that the little fish is there. At that moment, the dentist does everything to shoo Nigel away, and we notice there's a poster that we can only see a small part of. But in the next scene, the same poster is much closer to the window. Truly magical ball. Since we mentioned Toy Story, let's finish with a bang and talk about what for many will always be the best animated film of all time. Those who watch the latest films of the toys that come to life and witness the beautiful friendship between Buzz and Woody can hardly imagine that in the beginning, Woody actually hated Buzz because of the jealousy he felt, thinking he was being replaced by the Space Ranger action figure. In the scene where Andy is playing and then rushes off when his mom calls him to go eat pizza, we see Woody asking the Magic 8 Ball if Andy will take him along for the outing, and it responds, "Don't count on it," much to Woody's despair. But if we pay close attention, where did this Magic 8 Ball come from? As it wasn't on the table when Andy rushed off. Truly, this is a magical ball in every sense, as it appears out of nowhere. See it with your own eyes.
Pizza Planet? Oh, cool!
Go wash your hands and I'll get Molly ready.
Can I bring some toys?
You can.
Well, folks, those were the 12 absurd mistakes that most people had never noticed, at least until today. But tell us, which of these errors had you already spotted when watching any of these movies? And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye-bye.